for the mini subs. Goddamn.
Excellent!
Customs. God, how far back is this? Or else. The newest Rob Hello. When was April 1st? This was right when I started learning. Yeah, that's probably it right there. Grizz, thank you for the resub.
Excellent!
Thank you. Yeah, I might show what happened with James and Andros and James's wife in episode 3. I don't know because I wanted to keep episode 3 kind of silly with good closure, but that flashback would be very dark. I don't know. It would explain everything, be like, oh, that's why he's so numb all the time, and also why he's missing a hand, and also why he's night blind. Actually, no, the night blindness came later. Yeah. Long story short, James used to work for Andros. James and Vixie were the smartest teenagers in the Lilat system. They were in like a math B thing and got picked up by the government, going to a special academy class, and they end up doing a bunch of work for Andros. Andros works for the Cornerian government, and he has free reign of all the science stuff, gets to do whatever he wants. And in order to get the right thing for this dish and this technology they're using, they have to be on the specific side of Titania at a certain time of the Liladian year, the planetary year, whatever their communal dating is. So big accident happens. They've got a portal thing open to another part of the galaxy, or so they think. And James and Vixie, after a long consideration, volunteer to go through this to check it out. They've sent a few probes. People have come back safely by now. You know, very, very hush-hush experiment. And then, well, what basically turn out to be Apparoids later show up, start absorbing all of the exploration soldiers. James and Vixie narrowly get away, and as he's pulling Vixie up through the portal thing back into the lab, it shorts and explodes while his hand is still through it. He wakes up a second later, deaf, completely deaf, his ears ringing, and holding what's left of his hand. Andros comes in, they shut everything down, extinguish all the fires, and horrible accident. General Pepper is there and is like, holy fuck, you guys, okay, this is all done. We're never doing any of this again. Where we're gonna say this happened and this happened, science accident, blah blah blah. And yeah, I'm trying to add in things from all the different games and still keeping it original, but leaving enough reference stuff. And this is all like super hush hush. The only people that know about it are, well, Andros, Pepper, James. Well, Vixie did know about it. We don't know what happened to her, do we? The portal closed and she was left on the other side with James's hand and a bunch of Apparoids and Apparoided up ex-Cornerian soldiers. And yeah, that's the last that, yeah. So it could be said that years and years and years later, they could have gotten a hold of Vixie and looked at memories in her brain, at star positions and things, and been able to figure out where the Lilat system is. So maybe the whole point or the whole reason that Apparoids show up in the third episode because of then are you still here?
I am.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to leave you muted this whole time. I was just playing videos and stuff.
Dude, you're totally cool.
But spoiler, a bunch of spoiler stuff. And yeah, the lady, that's Andross's daughter. So basically, while episode 1 is going on, James and Andross's daughter are, you know, basically continuing their work before, you know, General Pepper got involved. But basically, back to the accident, you know, James somewhat recovers. Andross General Pepper owns both of them. He's like, yeah, you all tell me everything that happened. I saw the footage. You know, Pepper has seen everything. He knows everything. And he's like, you both of you come work for me, and you know, Andross, you are going to be under strict supervision, developing this shit for developing for the Cornerian military. And James, you are an honorary Lilat Marshal. I'm putting you in when you're not even going through the classes, the courses, anything. And you are going to be my right-hand man and to work this off. And blah, 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 blah. Stuff happens. And then eventually James goes through a really bad one, loses most of his eyesight because of a reckless thing that General Pepper, you know, made him go do it. And he's like, that's it, I quit. I'm not a Lilat Marshal anymore. And Pepper's like, well, don't you forget it. He's like, I don't care. I'm gone. I'm doing my own thing. And that's when he started. And General Pepper could have squished him like a bug, but he's like, all right, go tinker with your toys and your resources group and bounty hunting and mercenary stuff. I'll figure out what to use you for. So then, during this time, Andross has another thing that happens. No one knows about it but General Pepper. But at that point, whatever it was, instead of General Pepper being like, you're done, he tells us, like, get the fuck off Corneria. Get the fuck off Corneria. No, you can't take your things with you. No, you can't take all of these tools you've created with you. Get the fuck. You are left with a trench coat and a frown on the surface of Venom. Goodbye. Yeah. And it's one of the worst decisions he ever made in his life. So this is I'm just summing up my version of, you know, what has happened with the Star Fox characters so far. And well, I didn't just write this down one day. The story used to be a lot different. I've just completely changed it over the years while I was working on it. There's like 30 minutes of stuff with a bunch of other characters. Let me try and find some. I cannot guarantee that I can find these, but I'd like to show you some of the Illustrator stuff with Andross's daughter. I had so much of this already animated. And one of these guys is going to be one of the main, well, I don't want to call him a bad guy. I don't want to say characters are good guys or bad guys. I'm not going to use those terms to describe the violence, but this Apparoid character was going to be folded into it. Let me get Illustrator open and see if I can find something worth showing off. March 2020, the last month that I used Adobe Illustrator. That's the last file I opened. Illustrator. All right, can I do that here? Wow, old stuff. This is what was I drawing in Adobe Illustrator the last time I used it before moving to Blender. Wow.
I like those designs, though.
They're all right. I can't remember any of my keyboard shortcuts. There we go. This is just notes of stuff right when I was moving over to it. Yeah, this was the last thing I was looking at when I was like, I want to try to do something for this scene in Blender and just see how the grease pencil looks, because I was starting to learn what the compositor was. Is that a fist? Is that someone's fist up behind something? This is a picture I downloaded for a Russian building study. I wanted to see what the Minoka But after years of having this file, like I brought it into Adobe Illustrator to like draw over the buildings, and I never once. He's like even sitting there. He's probably got this tiny little bottle of non-alcoholic, or just kvass. He's like, "Don't tell my mom I'm drinking kvass." I completely forgot about that. I'm sorry. It's been over a year since I looked at this stuff. This is just some of my older designs for some of the characters. This is what Fox and Wolf are they are going to be in the violence. Like, Fox might not have this hair design. You know, this might be different. I don't know how to get rid of stuff on here anymore. But I don't know. We'll see. Like, I'm thinking about just, having a Fox character with glasses and Wolf's character, but he's got both of his eyes, and they're detectives. They're not going to wear suits like that. Clothes don't look like that. But, yeah, this is some old stuff. Anyway, let me switch back over here to what I was doing. Sorry, I haven't looked at any of this stuff in over a year. Forgot what I was working on. I don't know. I'm definitely having their voice actors come back. Yeah, episode 2 was going to be so dark. Oh my God. I forgot about this. This is when he originally I was going to have it where James. Oh my God. Yeah, this is when she runs into. Okay, James is woken up out of his cryogenic semi-death sleep after Pigma shoots him in the heart, and Andros basically RoboCops James. But, like, I mean, he doesn't have robotic limbs or anything. He's just, cybernetic, has a psionic amplifier, and it's wired to his brain, and he works a little different than the regular person. So I'm going to see if I can find some of the pictures. Yeah, I think here we go. Man, this is old stuff. Interesting art, though. I had the last episode where Fox has to fight an Apparoid clone of himself. No, it's just, like I put there, like it's just a doodle. I wasn't gonna. I was originally gonna have that where they grab a clone of Fox or something. Or he has to fight his fucking shadow. Yeah, this is the bad motherfucker here. So
Put it on like a fake blooper reel.
oh my God, I'm sorry, I haven't looked at this stuff in years. And this is a little test model I did of Andros's daughter. Anyway, James has been turned into kind of a System Shock 2 kind of psionic amplifier person. I have to update him because his eyes don't look like that anymore. Like, he has Andros's eyes. Like, he's had his eyes fixed with this stuff. So this is what James looks like after Andros is, RoboCopped him a little bit. Let me find here we go. This is kind of an old thing. This is like the very first concept stuff, and then I got some animated later when I got an actual model for her. But anyway, she has been on this ship for a long time, and James is woken up. He's in like a sleep thing, and Andros wakes him up. This ship has gone through another portal and got attacked, of course, by a single Apparoid, and it has absorbed the crew. Well, it tried to. A couple of them hung themselves, and she turned off all of the heating. She found out that freezing it was like the last thing. She's like, all right, well, I'm going to lock down the ship and freeze it, and we're all just going to freeze and die in here. And she puts on a coat, and she finds it actually slows the thing down to like 1 mile an hour. So you've always got this 1 mile an hour thing that can fuse through walls and through cracks and stuff, just slowly coming after you. And she's been awake for like 6 days. Just, walking, moving. Oh, and she can't get out of this ship. There's no atmosphere. It's floating in this place, this in-between black hole portal type in-between worlds place, and that's where James wakes up. And they're stuck on the ship with this thing. The temperature is down. This girl has been awake for 6 days, and she's losing her mind. James just wakes up, and she's like, I don't know who you are, blah, blah, blah. Or I think she does know who he is, but she doesn't trust him. And James has been affixed with a psionic amplifier that can actually destroy Apparoids. Theoretically. Link Star 21. This is, just so you all know, this is all stuff that got cut from episode 2. Episode 2 is going to be like 45 minutes long. And now some of it might be moved over to episode 3, but I'm not using this stuff. I'm going to animate that. But he just knows their gun is empty, and she, this is when that thing is coming out after them. Let me find it. Yeah. I actually went through all the voice reading and pacing in my head in episode 2. When I got to the end of the script and hit the stopwatch thing, we were approaching like 42, 43 minutes. Yeah, and this is the thing that's after them. Hold on. So anyway, yeah, she gets hold of him and tells me, or wait, no, it was this one was the first one. I'm sorry. These are. Yeah, this is where she finds him. Yeah, this is where it started. I'm sorry, I skipped ahead. So she finds him. This is the very first time she sees him. She's shivering. She's been awake for like 6 days. She's losing her mind. You docked? Yes. You have a ship that's docked? Yes. How many seats? We can both, How many seats? It's an experimental R-wing. Only I can fly it. We can fit, She's like, I know who you are, James McClane. And they hear a noise, and this guy shows up. And he is pissed. He is like half frozen, like a drool, snot, sickles. Like he is mad. And he has been walking like 1 mile an hour after them at this point. And yeah, the cold slows them down, but they never stop coming or whatever. And yeah, there's originally going to be her apparoidized husband next to the thing. I thought about it, but it was too much. Like maybe, I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So the original story was she's been walking around for 6 days nonstop with this alien thing and a weird absorbed version of her dead husband that she shot 5 times. And they're both still slowly coming after her, and she's been awake for 6 days. So, yeah, that's this guy. And so she's in that state of mind. She's not in a very laid back state of mind, and he puts his PPP or his PPE on. And he just says, get behind me and put that empty gun away. Like he just knows that the gun is empty. And, yeah, God, yeah, and she's just like, just kill it. If you can kill it, just kill it. And she's like starting to lose consciousness, just she just gives up. She's like, I don't trust this guy, but I've been walking for 6 days. I can't do this anymore. And she just like leans on his shoulder and she just starts sobbing. Just kill it. If you can kill it, kill it. And he's like, we'll see. And his gun charges up. And that was going to be the end of episode 2, the 40-something minute long episode 2 that goes into all this stuff. This is what's going on with James and Nora, Andros's daughter, because she snuck away on the ship. Andros didn't want her to go, but she's science lady. She's got to know. She gets on there. They open the thing. It's a huge disaster. James refuses to go at first, so Andros just clicks a button and James passes out. And he gets put in a hypersleep thing and put on the ship. He's like, well, if everything goes right, I won't have to wake you up, and you'll just wake up back here, and I'll tell you that, you weren't needed. So technically, you won't even remember it. But if something goes wrong, I'll wake you up, and tough shit, you're there. You have to deal with it. And something goes wrong, so Andros wakes, psionic amplifier James cyborg guy up and says, hey, my daughter's on this fucking ship. You're in a black hole portal between dimensions, and there's an Apparoid that has absorbed everyone except my daughter. She's been awake for 6 days, walking around with the freezing things, walking after, please save my daughter, love Andros, bye-bye. And that's what James wakes up to after being shot and thinking he was dead, and then kind of being dead, and then waking up with, wires in his brain. So that's what James is dealing with here. They settle down, and this is after all of that shit is over. Man, this is changed. Anyway, ignore all this. This was the original version. But anyway, he blasts the Apparoid guy into pieces, and they start thawing the ship. Lightly inspired by the thing, obviously. I forget what he says here. He says, I forget what he was saying, something about the computers and stuff. And she realizes that James is really cold. She's like, yeah, you must be freezing. He's just like, do you know if there's any? He's like, yeah. She's like, yeah, you must be freezing. Give me a few minutes. And they go into her father's quarters on the ship. If he was on the ship, that's where he would be. So, they're just going there like, oh, my father's quarters on the ship have some stuff that might be a little too big for you. And the flight suit that James is wearing is actually designed to keep temperatures low rather than warm. So yeah, that's what she's saying. She's like, yeah, you must be freezing. Those flight suits are actually designed to keep cool. And she finds, some boots of her dad's and a coat. So James is wearing this now. And they go find the other people on the ship, and it's not pretty. And that's right. Andros's boots are too big, and she's like, wait, I know where I can find you some boots, but we gotta. And he's like, what do you mean? And then it cuts to this shot there. Hold on. Yeah, like she's like, there's your size 11s. But anyways, he just cut them down, and then this is one of the guys there. Like, she knew all of them, and then I had a lot of this keyframed out and everything, but it's never going to be used. It breaks my heart. It hurts to look at it because I had such a cool dialogue and everything set. I want to use her for a character. She may end up just being in the violence, and I may end up showing her in episode 3. This is all still canon. All of this is still canon. All of this in my story, even if you all don't get to see it, in an actual episode. This is all canon in my head for Fred canon. But anyway, yeah, as then they, they incinerate the bodies, except for one guy who I forget what happened. Yeah, one of them they hadn't incinerated yet, and he had actually, had enough of this Apparoid thing in him, and I forget how it worked. I forget this, like, it's been so long since I looked at it, and there's like this half-absorbed, previously dead science monkey guy who was dead, and now this Apparoid has taken over his dead body. So there's this half Apparoid, half dead monkey guy who's screaming and punching himself in the face as this Apparoid thing is chasing after them. Like, this is after they're on the ship, fixing things up, and James runs in. It's the only time in the entire series that you hear James at a screaming volume. He runs in and screams at the top of his lungs, "R-Wing, now." She's in the middle of eating a fucking Menu B3 Pop-Tart ration. She's just like, whoa, and this thing comes around the corner with this guy that she shot and killed, who's being absorbed into an Apparoid, punching himself in the face and just like making this robot scream noise. And they, where's the rest of it? Damn it. Where's the other one? There's more in it. Oh, man. Damn. Yeah, this was all going to be in episode 2. This whole thing was going to be this part was going to be at the beginning of episode 3 when I was going to do more episodes, but holy shit. Yeah, it was going to be legitimately terrifying, and now I think I'm just going to fold it into the violence. I'm not going to use any of this stuff, but even if it doesn't make it into an episode, I'm probably never going to show this stuff again. So, I don't know. It was really terrifying, really fucked up, but I don't know. I want to do something in a cartoon that starts out like, oh, this is, silly cartoon, and then it just gets more and more real, and then where actual people will be watching it and go like, I can't do this. That would be neat. I wanted barrel roll jokes. Why am I crying? Oh, and the original fucking standoff. Oh my god. Yeah, let me open those. This was, instead of getting on a train, this is going to be someone's going to make a video like, the original idea for episode 2 of A Fox in Space was super dark, but Funimation wouldn't have it. Here's the episode 2 that we could have had. Anyway, this was episode 2. Hold on a second. This was episode 2, final act originally, where, hold on, let me make sure these are in order. Yeah, here we go. All right. I'll try to line the music up with it. I haven't done that in a while. Fox in Space soundtrack. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. All right. So this is Peppy, James, and Pigma, and they were going to go meet up. The same thing happens. Peppy, James, and Pigma get together and cover each other while they go and meet up with an operative. The operative is dying, and James realizes it was a bad idea. James gets his stuff from the guy, and Peppy escapes, and James gets captured. Or whatever. Same outcome, but different way it happens. This was an abandoned part of Venom, like the outskirts of Venoma City. Everything's all foggy and smoggy, and as it starts to clear down, they get to this old cafe called Morgan's, and they look around, and James is like, I'll go in, Pigma, you stay out here and keep an eye out. So yeah, Pigma's over here, and James and Peppy go in after James looks in there. And they go inside, and he's like, Des, and they find Des laying there. He's been very deeply stabbed, and his ear got cut off, hands all cut up, like he, defensive wounds and whatnot. And tells James everything he needs to know, starts dying, and then he dies. James hugs him, and he's gone, and James is like, hey, and then they hear Pigma outside going like, guys, and then James is like, we never should have come here, Peppy, I'm sorry. And they look out. I don't have a picture here of it, but they're like peeking out through the blinds, and he's out here like saying like, guys, they want you to come out or they're gonna kill me, man. And the original idea for these dudes, like when they talk, their voice box is synthetic, so they, the wider their mouth is, the louder it is. So this guy just opens his mouth, and it's just him speaking in this creepy, crackly, robotic, deep voice while his mouth is perfectly still. So he just stands there and opens his mouth, and it stays open while he's like, you have 30 seconds to come outside, blah, 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 something like that. And then, he looks back cuts back to them, and Peppy's like, what do we do? What do we do? He's whispered to him, he doesn't know. He's like, he's gonna shoot me, guys. And James, this big, long, like the slow zoom that I used when he's on the train when he's thinking. Just this really long, slow zoom, and James putting together everything, not actually showing any flickers of his memories or whatever, but just, you can just tell he's really thinking. And then he's like, I don't think he will. He just says it. He's just like, and then the music starts. Or he just like, and gets up. He's like, I gotta ask, how did you tell or whatever? And this is something Pigma said earlier. But anyway, one of the dudes comes up. Like here. And Peppy pulls out his gun, and Peppy's like, or James is like, Peppy, wait, and pop. Now, like he takes the dude out, and he's like, you said they were unarmed. It's like, come on. They get behind. Or wait, God, I think this is the right MP3. Anyway, they get behind James pulls down an old cooler inside the cafe, and they take cover. And they go to cover, and he's like, oh, we're gonna bust you up real good. They pull a fucking M60 or whatever, and then he's like, hit it, and they just start tearing up the front of the place. James pulls out like some cleaning stuff off of one of the restaurant shelves, and he's screaming like, "Hurry, run outside right corner!" He's like, Jim, what the hell are you doing? And he like puts his stuff in this cleaning bottle and throws it through the window, and it explodes. And they're all like in smog, and then they run out while the dude's shooting at him. And of course, they're not affected by it because they have robot lungs, but Pigma's like covering his eyes and wheezing, and they barely get away as the music fades out and it cuts to another scene of other characters or something. But like, yeah, that was what I originally wrote this music for, was this scene. And then I was gonna spend like a really long time, or like up over the newspaper stands, just like tearing them up with bullets and stuff. But now this was the original end of episode 2 before I added stuff and then I changed it. All of this has been retconned, every single bit. Damn, Peppy looking like he needs a boost to get through life. But yeah, this is old stuff that is never going to be used. One, it was like horrendously violent. I didn't want to go that direction with a Nintendo property. Oh, but like my other show is going to be called The Violence, not because of any violence that happens in it, but rest assured it will not be a cartoon for children. Yeah, this is old. I wish I could find all the stuff that was hidden in here. I guess not. Old Adobe Illustrator stuff. This is them on the beach. Andros tore himself out because he didn't want anybody to see him in swimming trunks. They were the wrong color. But yes. Old stuff. All the stuff with James and Andros's daughter and the Apparoids, totally canon. That's all canon in my thing, but the cafe shootout thing, that got changed to a train. I was so turned on by the idea of having a train scene in an episode that I was like, yeah, it's going to be a train instead. That stuff's all like 3 or 4 years old now. But all of this stuff with James, yeah, it's good. I want everyone to be like, what's real and what isn't until the episode comes out, so it'll all be a surprise. But for anybody that wants to know the specifics, like, I'll always answer your questions. I'll always tell you exactly how much I have left of my cartoon to do. That's all the Adobe stuff, or the Illustrator stuff. Let me get back to the Flash that I was working on. This is the scene here where they wake Rob up.
Glad you could join us. Rob, your friend Beltodi here just spilled his guts about the R-Wing.
Beltino, you did not tell them about the G-diffuser, did you?
No, Rob. You just did.
I did.
You did. Spill it.
This is where, yeah, I don't have the mouth movements right here, but he says, spill it, and Rob's there, and Rob's like, oh dear. And as this is going on, I might have a mirror or some reflection back here. I'm not quite sure yet, but you're going to look at Beltino over here. It's like, oh fuck, smack. The dude gets hit in the head with a ball bearing from a slingshot. But this is while he's like,
Spill it.
oh dear, schwack. And I don't have this paced yet because I've got to put the voice lines for Peppy in. But he starts to go around and Peppy's like, oh, I wish you would. And he holds up a tire iron. But that's what Peppy's going to say right there. And then he darts back around this way and puts his knife to Beltino's throat. And Sagan's like, oh, my head. This right here is literally what I was animating. Like, this dude, this sequence right here. Have a good one, John Doe. Thanks for coming by. But this sequence right here was what I was animating the day I decided to switch to Blender's grease pencil. Like literally these frames of him here. This is when I was animating the model, doing it in Blender, and I was like, you know what? Can I actually just try to do this? Let me see if I can hide that layer. Oh, it is just one picture. Never mind. But anyway, he's laying there. He's like, oh, there's a little rubber ball bearing. And you'll see it like bounce and roll over next to the guy's foot or whatever. But
Is that a slingshot? What? You're gonna put my eye out? With a rubber ball?
and this is where James is gonna. Oh yeah, wait. Oh, he doesn't actually say it here yet. What? Where's the audio? Was that it? Dang it, I thought it was actually gonna... Wah! Oh well. Anyway, this is where he's like, what, you gonna put my eye... whoops. Adobe, quit doing shit. Quit acting a fool.
A slingshot? What? You're gonna put my eye out? With a rubber ball?
And this is where James says, this one's not rubber, and they'll be picking it out of the wall behind you if you cut him. He gets all Liam Neeson. I have a particular set of skills. Up to and including kicking your ass. But he just basically tells him that, and even Pepe's like, whoa, that's that thing might bounce and hit someone else. But anyway, everything after this point in this scene, I will animate in Blender. Just like the other one, like the security checkpoint, that last little bit. This last little bit right here, I'll animate in Blender. This scene, when this scene is done, I am putting Adobe in the trash can. This is like after the train and security things that I'm finishing up now, I'm moving over to this one. And actually,
No.
this is all done. All this is done. Everything for me. Let me play and show you what's not done in this scene.
Hello?
Glad you could join us. Rob, your friend Beltoni here just spilled his
Beltoni.
R-wing.
Beltino, you did not tell them about the G diffuser, did you?
No. Rob. You just did.
I did.
You did.
So that's 100% done. All the frames of animation here, I've got to put Rob64 here. I have to animate his mouth, which is already a separate object, of him just saying spill it.
Spill it.
And then I have to make Rob64's lights light up for, oh dear. Like, you can't hear it there, but... Oh. There. Well, that's working. Why is it... Really? That's weird. Why does it cut off there?
Spill it.
Well, it'll be in the final cut. Like, I don't know, Adobe's fucking up right now. See, there's no sound there, but...
You did. Spill it.
And then, yeah, all this stuff. Oh, I wish you would. I would love animating and voicing that. But yeah, like, all this is done. This is a huge scene, too. It's going to be probably about this long here, but a lot of this back here at the end is going to be a cool scene with a lot of audio design where the characters are just watching down a hall as they hear the sounds of characters like leaving and getting on a scooter. But yeah, that scene is all I have to, like, at the end of this standoff here, There, oh, that looks so cool. With a rubber ball.
ball?
I'll be picking this one out of the wall behind you if you cut him. Maybe it is rubber and he's just, flexing that hard, saying that, yeah, I'll send this one right through your fucking skull and into the wall behind you. Rubber or steel doesn't matter. Because, can he? Can't he? Is he bluffing? You don't know. Never get to see him use it. Maybe he has some special rock at the end of episode 3, and the Apparoid Queen disables all of his psionic stuff with a pulse, and James has to resort to using his little prosthetic thing under his, psionic soldier suit. He pulls up the cap on his left arm and pulls a slingshot out and puts the secret killer stone that will kill the Queen Apparoid in his slingshot, and pulls it back. All the sound goes quiet. He says some witty one-liner and then hits the Apparoid Queen with it. Dark92, thank you for the bits. Linkstar21, thanks for the sub. And thank you for the other bits. But yeah, I've thought about all of these outcomes. I don't mind using a trope or two. I just don't want to, Have you tried turning it off and on again? It'll have to be I don't know. I wouldn't do that. The slingshot scene, sure, but I wouldn't have him say anything. Maybe the Apparoid Queen is in the middle of talking to him. He aims his, he's bloody and laying there. His back's broken or his leg's broken or something, and he aims his gun and she zaps his gun, and he clicks the thing on his arm cannon and it doesn't work. So he like under his suit or whatever, he pulls the cap off of his sleeve and puts that little rock and pulls it back and shoots her in the face with it or something. I don't know. And like whatever the rock is, it has to be the thing that they're trying to put into a network system or something or whatever. But if you could, hit the Apparoid Queen, it would kill everything. Like every sci-fi movie. Like Chekhov's gun or whatever. A total Call of Duty finale.
We were informed that you carry a sort of improvised shooting instrument. Please place it on the table and calmly step away.
I might need some help with that.
Your compliance, Captain. I do not want a fuss.
I don't want to kill you, Wetblade. You know I'm walking off this train.
My partner seems to think that
I know what he said.
I didn't have the voice in yet here, but this is where... Yeah. God, this whole scene is actually fucking done. But anyway, an extendo electric baton thing, and it's gonna go or whatever, and then Pigma was going to, yeah. And there, you know, as he gets ready to do something, yeah, I'll just play this frame by frame. Path. There's so many details that I don't want to reanimate this part, but I can make it look so much better. God, this is one of the funnest things to animate. And this is where Pigma's like, Jim, come on. It's like, come on, Jim. And, you know, then he's like, all right. You know, he starts to get up. And then Pigma closes the door. And James starts walking up to the door to follow Pigma. And the door opens. It's not Pigma. And and he's like, Dr. Andros would like to speak with you. And then James tries to punch him. He grabs James's arm, twists it, makes a horrible noise. He's like, now! I haven't finished animating this part yet. But then James is just kind of dangling there for a minute. Yeah. Dr. Andros will speak with you.
Dr. Andros will speak with you.
Yeah. It's like, now. But I don't have the voice for that yet. So James just kind of dangles there and thinks it over, and he's like, I suppose he will. And then it cuts to James in the car being held at gunpoint by the two officers from Andros's private thing. So I don't have to animate this scene, but I want to. But I'm gonna get everything else done first, and then when I get to this, I'll ask everybody, like, y'all mind if I take another month or so and reanimate this scene, make it look really good? I had a couple of ASL friends that really liked the sign language thing, but they would have preferred it be a little more in shot. They said that it was correct, but it was really difficult to tell, which is how I usually like things in cartoons, but I think it would be cool if it was kind of like a not such a tight shot on the guy doing the sign language. Yeah, the people that I will only be asking is going to be the people on my Patreon. Like, I'll you know, I'm always interested in everyone's opinion, but if everyone on the internet that's not on my Patreon wanted me to do it one way, but the 600 something people that are giving me money would prefer it a different way, then I'm going to do it the way that the people are paying me. No offense. But, or at least I will lean heavily in that direction. But anyway, yeah, like this whole part is done if I keep it this way. I don't know.
Dr. Andros will speak
I
with you.
don't have any of the ruffling, fighting, cracking bone sound. It would be like, I suppose he will. It's kind of funny. It's almost the funniest thing that James says in the whole episode, if not the funniest, when he's just like, I suppose he will. When it's just like, no, this dude could just like squish your head like a zit, and he's holding you up by both arms. Just do what he says. Or you can stay on the train and get framed for, you know, murder that Pigma did or whatever. But anyway. Yeah, so like all these other scenes that I don't have finished, like the scenes that I say, like I still have these couple scenes I have to animate. These are the scenes I'm talking about. They're mostly done. Like all that I need to put in is the voice and the mouth movements. And that's it. Like the full frame by frame dude getting up from behind the bar and everything. Like it's there. It's ready to go. The cool part here at the beginning, this table or this plate right here on the bar, these are going to be little hard mint candies, little red and white striped candy ball things. And James might look at them briefly and look back over here while Pigma's talking to them. And then in this scene where, come on. Yeah, like what I was gonna do, like when his finger comes back like this, just down here you're gonna see this little ball drop that's got little red and white stripes on it. Just a little, you're gonna see it just go like just a tiny bit. It's like, oh, like if you saw the peppermints at the beginning, remember the security guy takes his marbles? So like nobody knows except for Peppy and James what those marbles are for. So yeah. Yeah, he's got the, let me see where, oh, did I close it? I didn't mean to close that. Yeah. Lucano, thanks for the follow. It's been a very, very insightful stream for the special morning and or European crowd. Как вы себя чувствуете? But yeah, this is a bunch of the stuff that's mostly done. Like I said, a lot of this is done except for mouth movements. Even though there's like one part that I would like to redo. But I might not. I'll think about it. I don't know. And then it's going to cut to the inside of a car where James is sitting in the back in the center seat with two guys on either side of him with guns under his chin. And he's going to be staring forward at the center console on the car, the giant car that Reese is driving on an old highway going away from Venoma City. And Andros is going to be on the screen saying something very foreboding and chuckling, and then the camera pans out of the car and up into this like 30 or 40 feet above where the car was, and kind of holding that position as the car drives out forward, and the camera pans up to reveal that the car is driving to this big mountainous structure that is basically the building that Fox flies into at the end of Star Fox 1 to fight Andross. So it's like his special experimentation science area away from the city. So it's like da 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 da, and it like fades to a sketch of that, and roll credits. Episode 2 is finished. So you've seen the unfinished scenes for episode 2. You just saw like 80-90% of them, and as you could see, it's just down to mouths and a couple little 10 seconds here, 10 seconds there, a 10-second thing here, tying 2 scenes together. Little things at this point. I'm not going to speed up and rush it and cut corners, though. I want it to look at least this good. God, this was like right when I was working on this scene, like at this part right here, I was like, I really wonder, like I was just looking at the backgrounds, I'm like, I really wonder if I could do grease pencil at this point. So I got really tired of pulling these backgrounds in, having to make a new background every time every time there's a new shot, having to export it as an image and bring it in and set everything. It'd just be so easier if I could do all of this in Blender. And then I got to animating this, and I was like, this is so simple and easy to do with the different pictures. And yeah, I was animating this guy when I decided to go over and do it. I can't imagine how much longer I'd still be working on earlier scenes if I hadn't moved to Blender. Oh, this was just the... I was thinking of it like having him come out and be like, "You have another follower, sir." I think that would like turn this into an animated GIF where he pops out and says that. That'd be pretty neat. Yeah, I forgot how much of this train scene I had already animated. I've got 0 work done on stream already, but I just kind of wanted to go through this stuff and show everybody, like all the extra shit that's going in that no one is ever going to see. I'm going to redo the bar car completely from scratch. Thanks for coming, Citric. I appreciate it. You notice that these two characters are actually on the train already in that one scene. Let me open that up and find it. Yeah, I'm ready for it to be out too. I just want it to be done, but it feels good to look and go like, wow, most of the scenes I have left to do are already done. They just need some mouth animations. I just wonder how hard it would be to trace over my own artwork for this scene and convert it to grease pencil. I don't want to, but I'd like to try it one day just to see how long it would take to trace something. Because right now there is no good way to convert this stuff to grease pencil. It'd be real nice if you could, but yeah. I know a lot of people on the internet are like, oh, it's taking so long. I'm like, yeah, it is. But this episode is looking to be about 30 minutes long. Like right at 30 minutes. And other than like 3 shots, I did all the animation myself, doing a bunch of the voices. I do all the music, except for saxophone on 1 track. 2 tracks. That may be subject to change. I have a saxophone now. I recorded myself a couple days after I got it. It sounds horrible, but don't take my sub noise away. I'll see if I can find that. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Practicing my own Fox in Space song a little bit. That's not bad for 4 days when never having played a saxophone before. It's just making the noise on it is the hardest part. The fingering for playing stuff is easy, but getting the noise, the correct noise to come out of it is a pain in the ass. Yeah, I'm probably going to burst into tears and like have a nervous breakdown the day after I release this thing. Just the relief of the weight off my shoulders. Like the end of the Belmont curse. One second. Oh shit, I think I found the raw versions of my clips. I think I did! Oh! Hold on a second.
Oh shit.
I could be wrong. I could be right.
These are the ones you're talking about from Illustrator?
No, just the actual clips that I've had on my computer, but the ones I've been playing on stream, I just re-downloaded from YouTube, so they're like garbage.
Oh, okay.
Let me see if I can actually play the raw ones.
Nice.
Oh my god, yeah. I think this is a bunch of... Hold on a minute. I'll get one playing here in a second. Wow, I've been showing these in like third generation quality this whole time. Yeah, sorry it's taking so long. I'll get it on here in just a second.
I can actually pay attention this time. I've been spending the last 2 hours doing the UV map on my end. Just finished it.
Oh wow, this is so cool.